Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Ainhoa and Marcos, for joining today.
Thank you. Thank
You.
you.
Why is it essential for people planning to move to Spain to align their legal advice with tax advice from the very beginning?
Well, because I've seen that sometimes what I can tell them, which is maybe the easiest path for them in immigration, maybe then doesn't have the tax strategy that they would like to get, or the other way around. Sometimes I see that they get that tax advice that sounds perfectly, but with that strategy, tax strategy, maybe I cannot meet the requirements to get the immigration permit. So I always see that we have to work together because sometimes not the best immigration path or the smoother immigration path will get the tax strategy that they want, or the other way around.
It all has to line up.
Exactly.
Can you share a real life example of how a lack of coordination between legal and tax advice has led to serious complications?
Well, what we can share is a lot of, for example, nomad permits problems that we have, because and Marcos and I have to work always together to sometimes to do the nomad right, sometimes to change the kind of visa, because there is a problem with nomad, especially with US citizens, because depending we need some social security certificate that depending in the country we can get it or no. So in the US we cannot get it for nomads, and because we cannot get it for nomads, it's very difficult for us to do nomads as employees. While Marcos will explain it later, but if you come as a nomad, as an employee, it's very straightforward that you can get the Beckham Law, which normally all of our clients want to get the Beckham Law. But if you are an employee, I cannot get the Social Security certificate that for immigration they ask. So if I bring you as a nomad, 90% of the cases I will bring you as a 1099. And if I bring you as a 1099, Beckham law is not applicable. So this is a kind of a very common situation right now that we have to meet together with the tax advisor, in this case Marcos, and fix a way to get the immigration permit with the best tax strategy.
What is the Beckham Law?
Okay, to understand what the Beckham Law is, the first thing, the best option is to understand what the general regime is. The general regime for a taxpayer, for all taxpayers in Spain, is that they are subject to the personal income tax over the worldwide income, okay, and to the wealth tax over the worldwide assets or estate, okay. So, bearing this in mind, the Beckham Law is the exception, is the special regime to people coming to Spain, okay, in a relocation process that applies for all foreigners or Spaniards, but they are coming to Spain without that they haven't been resident in Spain for the last 5 years, okay. And so, if someone is coming to Spain, and if they meet some conditions and requirements, they could apply this special regime that is really friendly to people for impats coming to Spain.
Marcos, and someone that is switching from a student permit wouldn't be able, because it has been already living in Spain, wouldn't be able to get the Beckham law, right?
Theoretically, it's the law demands, okay, like a close relationship between the relocation, okay, and the beginning of a job in Spain, or being named as director of a Spanish company, okay, or meeting the requirements that the law says. So it's necessary a close relationship between the relocation of the displacement to Spain and the beginning of any kind of activity allowed by Beckham law. Okay, so this regime applies for people coming to Spain for starting an activity here in Spain, a business in Spain, and not for any taxpayer that is being relocated in Spain and after that decides to apply for the regime.
What are the key benefits of the Beckham Law?
Okay, the Beckham Law, the key benefits of the Beckham Law are the following ones. First of all, the income from foreign source, okay, is not taxed in Spain, except the salaries, okay. And secondly, the other big benefit of Beckham Law is the taxation at a fixed rate of 24%. And we have to take into account that in Spain we have a progressive tax rate, okay, that could reach until 40% or something like that. So the benefits are quite important, quite relevant, because the citizen that has been relocated to Spain and becomes tax resident in Spain is taxed as a non-resident only for income from Spain, okay, and at a fixed rate of 24%.
Who qualifies for the Beckham Law under the Digital Nomad Visa framework?
Okay. The law says, the Beckham Law says that someone could apply the regime mainly if he or she has been relocated to Spain for starting an economical activity like employee or as a director of a Spanish company. We also have like two extra options, okay, but the general ones, so the big options are these two ones. And the law, since since the approval of the startup law at the end of 2022, it says that particularly people that are smart working or working by using the laptop or, I mean, with a foreign employer can apply the regime. And particularly the law says that if someone comes to Spain holding the digital nomad visa, could apply for the regime. But here, this is really important. We need to underline that, as I know I explained before, you can apply for the digital nomad visa by using two options. Okay, the first one will be applying to the visa as employee. Okay, and the second one will be applying to the visa as freelance or Spanish autónomo, the solo entrepreneur. No. And this kind of visa, or the people that applies for digital nomad visa, but attending to this second option, cannot apply for the regime. We need a visa holder that applies for the visa being an employee of the foreign company in order to apply for Beckham.
The problem is when you are an employee, and we need a social security certificate that the US social security authorities are not issuing for nomads.
Yeah.
So that is the main problem for nomads employees. But it's true that they allow us to open a social security account here if the company is willing. That is the problem. If the company doesn't want to do anything, right, Marcos? But if the company that is the employer is willing to enroll in social security in Spain, which is not really like creating a company in Spain, is having an account in social security in Spain and paying social security in Spain, right, Marcos? So the social security will have to be paid in Spain, which is 30% of the salary.
That's it. I mean, the thing is that the migratory law is so friendly, okay, with the digital nomad visa holders, and then the tax law says that only people holding this kind of visa under employee situation could apply for the regime. Okay, for the Beckham regime, but the problem is that I think that in Spain, at least for the moment, we don't have a real coordination between migratory side, tax law or tax office, okay, tax authorities, and social security authorities. Because the thing is that European authorities ask all the EU countries, okay, to be more, I mean, to be more friendly with people relocating in Spain, to avoid this kind of paperwork and avoid asking foreign companies to register in social security or enroll Spanish social security in order to pay social contributions in Spain. But for the moment, at least for the moment, and I think that this is something that could change in the short term, but at least for the moment, the foreign company needs to enroll the social security to pay social contributions. So we can apply for the digital nomad visa in almost all the scenarios, or in these two types of scenarios, freelance and employees. From the tax side, we can only apply for the Beckham Law for the digital nomad visa holders under employee conditions, but we have to take into account that we need the collaboration of the foreign company to register before the social security authorities in Spain and pay social contribution here.
So in practice, there is only one country whose social security certificate is accepted by the Spanish authorities. I believe this is the United Kingdom. Is that correct? And all the other countries, like the social security certificates, are not really accepted for this purpose?
I've seen like different situations with the same country. Canada, for example, I've seen a denial because they didn't get the social security certificate, because they were not adapting the social security certificate as Spain wanted. And then I've seen another client getting it approved. So really, this is the disorganization, not only between offices, as Marcos says, between tax, social security, and immigration. The same immigration authority sometimes resolves differently, as the same situation answers differently. So it's a little bit, well, it's not safe for our clients. I understand that. With the UK, as you said, is very clear. But what they need to know is that it's clear, but just for a year. Okay, after a year, we face the same problem.
Anyway,
Because-
I would like to clarify that this doesn't mean that a foreigner from the US, for example, or Mexico, or any other country cannot apply for the digital nomad visa under employee conditions. Okay, it's just that they can't do this without registering the foreign company before the social authorities and the social security authorities.
Sometimes the problem is that sometimes this coming to Spain is just because the employee wants. It's just a voluntary thing of the employee, and if you said to the company, I need you to do this, sometimes they don't want. It says no, you can continue to be my employee, but I'm not going to do anything extra. But if you have a good relationship, or if the company is yours or part yours, then it's very viable to do it, of course.
We need the collaboration for the foreign employer.
I know when you mentioned that for UK applicants, the social security certificate is valid just for 1 year. Why is that?
Because they only issue it for nomads. They only issue the social security certificate for 1 year. So after 1 year, they will give you, because they give us the social security only for a year, the immigration permit is only for 1 year, and then we have to renew it. But for the renewal, we don't get a renewal of the social security certificate, because the UK has decided that it's only for 1 year, for nomads, I mean, for the nomad figure. So after 1 year, we need to find a solution. It's not that we don't have a solution, it's just that we cannot continue as an employee, as a nomad, without registering the company here. So we will have to change to another kind of visa, which we can, but there is an extra procedure to do and an extra strategy to design.
Are there any restrictions on income sources for applicants under the Beckham Law?
Okay, the key of the Beckham regime, okay, is that a resident taxpayer, okay, is considered non-resident, okay, non-resident at the tax effects. So any digital nomad visa holder that applies for Beckham, okay, could pay taxes in Spain without reporting the income from foreign source. So I don't mind from the Spanish side what is the income you are getting abroad, for example, dividends, interest, capital gains, okay, any income, whatever. This is not taxed in Spain, except the income from salaries, for employment, okay? That the Beckham taxpayer need to declare or need to report this under the tax return, okay? But they are allowed to apply a tax credit, okay, to deduct the withholding tax that they support in the country where they are working, just in case they are supporting effectively withholding tax in the other country. No? So mainly the big answer is that they can get any kind of income, any type of income, without reporting this to Spain, except the salary or income from employment.
How long can a digital nomad visa holder benefit from the Beckham Law tax regime?
Yeah, the law says that the Beckham taxpayer could apply the regime for the year that is coming to Spain and acquires the status of tax resident, and the next 5 periods, next 5 natural years. It's true that when in 2022, with the startup law, at the beginning, they say that the project of the law includes the regime for 10 years, but finally, we still remain, we still have in the law this deadline of 5 years for Beckham taxpayers.
Can digital nomad visa holders switch to another residency status and still retain Beckham Law benefits?
Mhm. As I know, I think that is perfectly explained at the beginning. I think in Spain there is a lack of coordination or lack of understanding between the migratory side, okay, of the migratory authorities and the tax side of the tax authorities, okay, and the laws applying for the taxpayer. So from the tax side, we need planification and a coordination between the migratory side and the tax side, okay. But any change or any modification of the visa conditions does not affect the Beckham regime. So, for example, someone can move to Spain under a digital nomad visa and then apply for another type of visa, or getting this last month of application of the golden visa can apply for a golden visa and then move to another kind of visa. Anyway, I mean, we can be really flexible, or we can find different alternatives without losing the Beckham regime.
But one question, Marcos. So if I bring a nomad, okay, for a year as an employee of a company in wherever outside Spain, and then after a year I change that person to a highly qualified because he gets a job offer in a Spanish company. So because the situation changed, but both of the situations qualify for Beckham, will continue the Beckham law applicable?
That's the key. If both situations can apply for Beckham, any movement, I mean, changing the job or being named as director of a Spanish company or any other movement, doesn't mean any problem.
Perfect.
No problem. Yeah, it's true that for the moment there is not a public criteria that refers to digital nomad visa holders that arrive to Spain under these circumstances and then change to another kind of professional relationship with an employer or with a company, whatever. But attending to all the precedents and all the case law, when someone moves the situation or change the situation, I think I strongly believe that this will not mean any problem.
Is there any income threshold where applying the Beckham law makes sense, and why?
In my opinion, I mean, it's said that between the 50,000 euro retribution, 50 or 60,000 euro retribution, is the threshold where it's more friendly or it's convenient to apply Beckham instead of applying the general regime. But apart from this, there are many situations that Beckham could be convenient. For example, for avoid declaring assets or wealth abroad, or declaring or reporting in Spain and paying taxes for foreign income apart from the salary. So there are many situations that we need to avoid deciding applying for Beckham or not, only attending to the salary, the amount of the salary. No, I have some good experience, success experience with some taxpayers with a small salary in Spain that apply for Beckham, for example, because they want to protect their income abroad or any other kind of movement abroad. No, so we need to analyze case by case all the situations.
And the last question in this of this subject, it's actually comes from Spain Guru's community. It's been shared publication and advertisement from attorney's office who are targeting people moving to Spain under the Beckham law, where they state this was in Wall Street Journal and also in UK newspapers. They say that people under the Beckham law in Spain face extra scrutiny and even persecution by the tax authorities. What is your opinion on this?
I think that this kind of announcements are quite disappointing, because it's not. I think that this is not correct at all. Okay, here in Spain we have a serious tax administration, a serious tax office. Okay, with really good professionals, and at least at 99% of the situation, they work properly and they avoid any kind of prosecution or any kind of general tax audit, okay, looking for this kind of situation. But the truth is that the application of Beckham law is not easy. People could think that this is something that is easy paperwork. This is just applying for the regime and that's all, and not. This is not reality. You have to take into account that when applying for Beckham, the resolution we get is not a certification that says that you are applying for Beckham correctly. Okay, it only says that the paperwork for the application is correct from the formal side. Okay, I mean, it's saying that you ask for the regime correctly, but it's not a resolution that protects you for all the application of the regime. So I think that it's really important to get good advisory, top level advisory, in order to apply the regime without problems. Okay, because it's true that there are some negative experience, okay, with people or theoretically expert tax attorneys or tax lawyers applying for Beckham Law, okay, and then if the client or the citizen that is relocated into Spain doesn't apply properly the regime, they can suffer some problems, okay? But I think that we cannot say that we are under a big control or that the Spanish tax authorities are not friendly with Beckhams. No, this is not true. Indeed, we are one of the 2 free European countries or countries in the south of Europe that offers this kind of regime. Portugal finished their special regime, UK as well. So I think that the Spanish law or the Spanish tax authorities want to attract new taxpayers under the Beckham Law. There are many options to apply for the regime, and the experience is really, really good. So I think we have to avoid this kind of declaration or news because they are not true at all. No?
This is very reassuring, Marcos.
Yeah.
As you can see, you are in very good hands, expert hands. If you reach out to Ainhoa and her team, you can do it at info@sternabogados.com. And if you're applying for Digital Nomad Visa, Golden Visa, we are still on time. Non-lucrative visa, any kind of visa, residency or immigration procedure, I highly, highly recommend Ainhoa and her team. And please reach out to them because they will align the immigration side of things and tax side of things so that you can fulfill your goals in the long term if you want to move to Spain. So yeah, please reach out to them. Thank you so much for joining today, Ainhoa and Marcos. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.